episode number 2. We are actually live now. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the new music, something I just randomly picked out. Other than that, we are... Wait. Isn't this another milestone for us?
Yeah, second episode! Milestone!
Every episode, brand new high score.
It's a streak!
It's a streak. 2 in a row. So, if you like the new music, let us know. If you don't, let us find something different. I'm going to try to cut it down, though, because I think that was just a tad too long. Thanks, everybody, joining us. We really appreciate it. Let's go ahead and start off with a tradition from the olden days. And, Spencer, what are you drinking today?
Well, I'm going to have a shot of this Serpent's Bite apple cider whiskey, and then I'm going to find out what the proper ratio to mix it with apple juice is.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
And, Seth, what are you drinking today?
Keeping on the apple theme, I've got a Bold Rock hard cider. It's made right here in Virginia, and it's the premium dry, which is, I would say, a little sweet. So, false advertising, good drink.
Okay. Of course, my traditional, a good old Maker's Mark shot to start off, and chasing it with some Honey Brown today.
Honey Brown.
Other than that, new high score.
Cheers.
Whoa, that was a little tasty. Other than that, we hopefully everything's getting going. If something is not working, please let us know. We will try to get it fixed as quickly as we can. Facebook is probably should be connected by now, but I'm not sure if we've got everything going. Facebook Live going okay?
Mm-hmm.
If anybody is talking in there, please say something so we know it's working. Other than that, Seth, we didn't get to last of all the questions last week, so your hands right now, buddy.
All right, so I'm only going to answer a couple of the questions. We're going to talk about why I'm only answering a couple a little later in the podcast. So, first question, Brett Painter. How do I choose which type of modeling, epoxy, green stuff, brown stuff, etc. do I use? Are certain types better depending on brittleness or curing time? Nice thing is that all of these start to really cure within about 15 minutes of when you mix them. All of these putties, no matter what color we're talking about, these modern epoxies are made with a hardener, which is called Kneadite, and then a second material, which is this resin, or in the case of some things, harder things. So, white stuff, green stuff, yellow stuff are the soft epoxies, and you would use that if you're going to be sculpting anything that is curved or needs to be organic. If you're repairing or gap filling on, say, a Space Marine piece of armor that is going to be curved, like maybe in between the armor plates on the legs, or if you're going to get on the side, that's where you would use that. The brown stuff and some of the other darker colors are actually Kneadite with metal resin. And brown stuff in particular is made with aluminum. You'd use that when you want to use when you want to get a hard line effect. So if you're doing weapons, or if you do something that needs to be very straight. The other thing to consider is that the lighter resins, the green stuff, the yellow stuff, white stuff, is actually inherently sticky. So you don't need glue if you're going to use it, but you need to know that it's always going to round at the end. And when it does cure after about 24 hours, that lighter green stuff, you can carve it, but you can't really sand it down. It's whatever shape you ended up with. The harder stuff is actually better for that sanding, that when it's done, it is very hard. I actually have some of the brown stuff made for Milliput, and I actually pull out my Dremel when I have to work with it after it's dry, because it is so hard. Both of them take about 24 hours to cure. The lighter stuff tends to be sticky, goes softer. The harder stuff, not sticky at all, and you'll have to use glue with it eventually. So that's the first one.
So, question on that because I don't use a lot of green stuff. Typically, what I do is if I have a gap on a model, I spray some Zip Kicker on it, and then put some glue on it and wipe it off real quick.
Yep.
And that's pretty much all I do. Is that a problem?
It's not a problem if that's what you're going for. If you're just going for, I want to get on the table, that works totally fine. If you are doing some sculpting or you need to do some bigger repairs, something like that, that's where the putties come in. I personally really love Milliput. Their fine yellow is awesome for doing gap filling like you're talking about, Gonzo, because I can take just a little bit, make a little ball, and put it on the sides, and it's so water reactive that I'll put water on my thumb, rub it over, and it becomes perfectly smooth. And then when it dries, it's hard, it's ready to go. The other thing is if you ever have to sand dried super glue, you're inhaling arsenic, which is, I hear, not good.
No bueno.
Muy no bueno. Any other comments or questions on that one, guys? No?
Nah, I think we're good.
Cool.
Yeah, we're good.
Next question. This came from multiple people. How would I go about painting a Colossal without an airbrush? First, I would probably pull out something to drink, perhaps one of these. But this weekend I actually looked at that question and I said, you know what, that's a good one. And I pulled out one of my Colossals and I started working with it, and I have two great things to tell you. One, you can actually do it, and it's not terrible. One option is to get that packaging sponge out of your blister packs and use that. Put on plenty of paint, and you actually just dab it on in the colors that you want and the levels that you want. Change your colors as you go to your higher places so that your highlights are where they're supposed to be. Paint your shadows in with a brush like normal. And it actually turns out okay. You're not going to win any competitions, but it'll be done pretty quick. The other thing I did is I just got out a size 4 brush. I usually use it for when I'm doing watercolors, and it made the whole thing go much faster. Bigger brushes will get you a lot farther. That's definitely how I'd go about it. I also would not pre-assemble the entire Colossal before I started painting. That's one where I do legs in one hand, head in the other. Feel real good about myself. Got this whole thing in 2 parts, paint it, and then put it together.
Mine are all legs and lower torso, upper torso, and then arms are generally separate too. Mm-hmm. All with pins, sometimes multiple pins, so I can put it back together how I need it to. Mm-hmm. And that's also good for storage because not everyone's going to buy the giant piece of foam. You might want, just a layer of foam that's smaller that you can put it in multiple parts in.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
but I've also been painting my galley. What's that?
Y'all get all into it. You know what I do? I put that thing together, prime it black, and then use a brush that's about that thick to paint the entire thing.
I've been painting my galleon by hand. I'm still at it, but it can be done. You just water your paint downs, multiple levels. Every trick and tip you've heard for painting and getting a smooth coat on a normal model, like double that. You've got to make it thin coats because that shit is not going to cover well the first time.
Yeah. And I know that most
very big brush and lots of alcohol, Sassy.
I do use actually a tank brush for the first layer. The old GW tank brush.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I use to paint like any big model, like a Colossal, is the big old tank brush that you're talking about. I love that thing. It's also one of my big dry brush brushes.
Yeah, the old ones, they made a really good tip on that. You could dry brush with that. I was impressed.
Yeah, and Maxim DT says he Zenithal primed his Colossal, Krylon black primer, and then did a very big bristly brush for the surfaces. That would totally work too. It might take you more time if you're doing it with actual glazes, but not an issue.
I mean, it's a centerpiece model. It's worth taking the time for it. If you don't have an airbrush, just take some more time. Yeah. It's a good way to level up.
Yep, absolutely. So these next 3 questions, how do I go about creating battle damage on organic models? We're talking about bruising. Hold on to that. With the release of Dark Imperium, neural units offer a host of options to grossify units. When I go totally ungrossified, or when I unify the army with a scheme or mosaic of decay near death, you know what? Put a pin in that. Modding figures and lighting them up, great question from Sassy. Hang on to that one. And then, how do you paint an army to high standard in under 3 months? I have ways. So, the reason why I'm putting all of these on hold is because these are great questions that need examples and demonstration. So, if you're a Patreon subscriber, you may notice at the $2 level, right, Gonzo?
No, $5 level for your video.
$5.
$5 per month, not per episode.
$5 per month. We're going to start putting out hobby videos, and I'm actually going to be using these as the inspiration for the first few videos that I do. John Snodgrass asked about painting an army to high standard under 3 months, and the secret is not actually painting faster. It is not actually...
Wait, I previewed that. I thought it was quit your job and paint.
Quit your job and paint is a good one. Hire somebody else to do it also works.
Yes, absolutely.
I
Throw money at
painted,
it.
Yeah, I have painted entire armies in less than 3 months. It is backbreaking work. But it's actually all about the strategies that you use. And so for the first few videos, we're going to be talking about how do you get your army to a high tabletop strategy, a high tabletop standard using strategies that just make it so you can paint faster, cleaner, and get through what you need to get through. Some of it's color selection, some of it's the actual process, and some of it is things that until I was doing it, I never would have thought about, like just how I was organizing my desk. So that'll be the first couple of videos, and then we'll start going into some of the more demonstration-oriented videos. The reason why I'm waiting a little bit is because I've just moved cross country, and I need to finish getting the camera set up. So if people can be patient with that, there will be videos to begin with, and then in the next month or so, we'll get the actual demonstration videos out there.
On that, I do want to talk about the Patreon real quick, because we mentioned that, and Sassy had a really good question. Yes, all Painting with Manoff John's patrons were transferred over to us. So we just changed up all the reward system to better suit what we're doing, bring you better content, more content, things that you want. With the $1 level, you're going to get the pre-ramble like usual. Just an extra 20-30 minutes of us BSing and having fun. Which I worked really hard. I had to really go through and get a lot of things done for the $2 level. I had to send at least 3 emails off.
Oh my god.
3 emails off so you could get the new More Than Dice action figure. So at the $2 level, you will get the More Than Dice action figure, which is a 6-sided dice. It's a 16 millimeter. We ordered those off. They said that it takes about 3 or 4 weeks to come in. So as soon as they come in, everybody that has a $2 membership or more will get a dice. You just have to give me. And we'll order more. I think they turned out pretty sweet looking. They were really happy to help us.
Oh, yeah, legit.
For the $5, you'll get to watch Seth talk about painting every month. Every month he will do a painting or a hobby tutorial of something, and if you're 5 or higher, you will get to watch that video, check it out, ask questions, everything else. The $10 guest spot. If you would like, if you're at the $10 level, and this all starts over, so if you do a $10 now, we will, you'll get a guest spot at one point in time. You just need to let us know ahead of time. We'll talk about it. And also gives one of us a day off. So we can go drink beer in front of the TV instead of in front of our computers. And I think the one that's a really cool one is the $15 or more. And I think this is actually a really big bargain, because you'll get a miniature painted by Seth. But here's the kicker. You'll be in as a raffle.
Yeah.
And if there's 15 people, you'll get in the raffle, pull it out, and you get it. You can't get more than one until everybody gets one. That way we kind of be a little fair. So if there's...
that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That way people get... Seth charges a pretty good penny for his stuff, and he does really good work. The picture I put up is what Seth did for my Ogren Bakor. Wonderful model. Thank you so much. I think that's a really good one. If you think we need to add more or a different dollar amount, please let us know. Mm-hmm. We really, really like keeping y'all. We like that John was able to give us everybody else because we've actually started accruing expenses. We had to pay for our own XSplit. We had to pay for the dice. We have to pay for servicing stuff. And as soon as we get all the information, big news. I don't know who's going to like it, who cares, but we will be on the Muse stream, so we have a good RSS feed for everybody to follow.
A little easier for everyone to follow that way.
Yes. That way you can listen to it in your car, when you're driving to work, while you're painting. So we're going to get that done. Also, as soon as Seth can, when he gets his camera up, we will be doing more painting videos while we talk about stuff. We just got to give this man some time.
Yeah.
I mean, we already given him 2 weeks, so he's got to get on it.
10 days, man. You give me 10 days.
Wow.
So other than that,
at the $5 you also get the My Occasional Podcast new name pending, because Call It the Co-Host's Corner doesn't really fit so much anymore when there's multiple co-hosts.
correct.
So I'll think of something, and you guys will get something at least one a month, probably 2 a month from me, to be honest, because that's what my old schedule was, and I feel like I can keep that up. Besides, I got a bunch of Avengers movies. I'm only like halfway through the Avenger Initiative. I gotta review the rest of those things again. Good lord.
Just so everybody knows, I know that we've been going through a lot of testing and stuff, and a lot of going and working out the bugs. I will be releasing a video sometime next week from one of my favorite friends. Everybody know Explosivo, Chris Johnson. He has agreed to come and talk to me about 3D printing and show me some of the new products he's been doing. And I will release that for free because I'm such a wonderful guy.
You are
awesome. As just something to show, because I think that he really he wants to promote what he's doing, because we talk about a lot of cool 3D stuff.
Absolutely.
And
3D printing's an up and coming thing that we need to start looking at. One of the locals has a 3D printer. He's trying to decide what to do with it, because I mean, there's so much you can do, but some of it takes time and energy, and you really got to pick and choose.
Correct. So I mean, we're going to try to do stuff. If there's something y'all want to see on Patreon, if you want to be charged per episode, per month, I'm not sure how John did it, but I think a per month thing is fine, unless we do something like super special, like something super crazy, some like badass thing. I don't care. We do this because we like to.
We're open for ideas, guys. I mean, we like doing this, but we also, want to give you guys some of what you're looking for,
And with that in mind, if there's anybody who has something they'd specifically like to see a video on, let me know, because I know what I think I should be doing, but it's better if I do the things that you actually want me to do.
Yes, very much so. We're here for the people. Other than that, all right. Do you have any more questions, Seth?
We're going to hit Kevin Bashford's?
What was that?
So, we got 2 questions that are to the group, and then Kevin Bashford's. Ready?
Go for it.
So, Jason Kennedy asked, how do you get your local group to focus on a single game when they all have game ADD and switch game systems every 3 months?
Campaigns. Run a set duration campaign, no matter how you do it, get people, find rules. There's a million versions out there. Tweak something, run a campaign so they know, we're going to play this game for X weeks, and then we'll probably go to a different game, and if you run a campaign, they'll stay with it for the entire time, and you can sort of herd your cats to the right way.
What do you think, Gonzo?
I agree with him. Right now, there's so many miniature games out there, and there's so many good miniature games. It's not just like, hey, try this game out. It's kind of weird. But there's a lot of good miniature games, and like our place is divided by like four or five different games. But if you do like a slow grow league, a campaign, Summer Rampage, Winter, whatever else that's going on with like Privateer Press or 40K Battle of Kronos or whatever it is, that should get them enough to hold on that thing for a while. So make it fun to play the game. Bring people a reason to come play the game, not just, hey, let's go get some games. A good one is I used to do a slow grow league, but I changed it up where you got so many points for doing certain things, and I also have special objectives going back from the Old Man Tournament or Who's the Boss stuff. When you play a game and you're able to trample over 5 or more models, get a bonus point. That type stuff. Yeah. Make it interesting and fun.
And rotate it. If you do a slow grow one time, next time you guys come back to that game, unless you got a bunch of new players, do a different sort of campaign. Because they've already slow grown. They're in. Just run something else. Seth, what you got?
I mean, I think everything you guys have said is better than anything I would have said, because it would involve duct tape and some sort of compulsory gameplay. But no, I think the campaign... I think the campaign makes the most sense, at least with the people that I've played with, that they would want to keep going.
That's the key. You got to trick them into thinking that, and to keep wanting to go and not change games every week or something.
Yeah, trick them into thinking it was their idea, and they will want to keep doing it.
Yeah, they're having fun. They'll keep going. Boom.
All right. Next question is from Alan Souls. What do you feel is the appropriate way to let a game or game system die? Think Battletech, Mage Knight, maybe Robotech.
That's a tough one, because people don't like letting go. Really, if you for yourself has decided that a game system has died for you, just pack the stuff away, put it in the attic, wherever out of reach, and just wash your hands of it. Just be like, I'm done, I'm out, completely gone. Don't wibble wobble about it, because then you send a mixed message. If you've got a tight group, talk about it. I'm like, hey, are we still going to play this game? And if they're him and Han, like, I propose we not waste our time playing this game, and we all focus our energies on other games. Because you're a group, together you guys can make good decisions. Maybe someone brings up a good point where you want to keep playing that game. Maybe you just want to keep playing that game, in which case you do. But if you want to wash your hands of it, just be done. Just eject completely.
I agree with that. That's the biggest problem. If you have 4 or 5 people playing it and nobody's playing anymore, you gotta let it go. And it's sad, because there's a lot of good miniature games out there. One of the ones that I was wanting to play was Firestorm Armada. Reminded me of old Epic from 40K, low space battle stuff. And then X-Wing came along. That game's gone.
Hey.
And it's a
Star
great
Wars
game.
Armada. Yeah.
It
is a decent game. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And, I mean, I finally decided, hey, I'm just going to try to sell everything. So, put that stuff on eBay. But once you're there, just let it go. If you can get your money back, try to get some money back.
Yeah, I think the big thing also is from the other side. If there's a game system that you're not interested in and somebody's really pushing it, don't buy in. Because I think that sometimes prolongs the death of a system. Is they're like, oh, but I found one person to play. And I've been that one person a few times, and it's not a fun experience.
No.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about Relic Knights. I've got 3 or 4 people locally who want to play, and I'm like, that may not be enough, but I'm willing to give it a chance for a bit.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't work, then I'll pack the models away, and I generally don't sell completely out of something unless it's unless I'm completely out, like I never want to see that again. They've burned all their bridges. 40K. And otherwise I keep it and store it to the best of my ability. But your storage space and availability. When people are clamoring for the models and you went out, by all means, get to the forum, get out. I like to turn game stuff into more game stuff. It's the circle of gaming.
Truth. All right, I think this brings us to the last of the questions.
Well,
oh wait,
yeah.
One from the chat. Gonzo, Congo the Jormungand would like to know, if he pledges $5 a month, will you dress as a pirate during one of the shows?
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. But it has to be for more than 1 month.
I'm sure Congo's already at $5, honestly, but damn right. I want to see you dressed as a pirate, Gonzo.
I will dress for a pirate for every month you stay at the $5 level. One podcast during the month, I will dress as a pirate.
Damn. Legit.
All right, John, what are you dressing up as? Let's up the ante.
I don't dress up. It's not,
Let me
not
check
my game,
on.
sir.
Let's
That's
see.
playing out of position for me.
All right, well, now you got me off the hook. Fine. Gonzo, you are our costume guy.
Oh, I've already got the first one figured out. There ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
I'm
Is it going to
slightly
involve
worried.
a steering wheel?
It will not be in my pants, that's for sure.
All right, we have one final question from Kevin Bashford. Gentlemen, you have $1 million and 24 hours to spend it. You can't keep anything you buy, and you don't get to keep the change. And you can only donate 1/4 of it to charity. What do you do? Gonzo.
I donate as much as I can to charity. I don't care about that. I can't keep anything I buy, and I can't do what else?
And you can't keep the change.
Can't keep the change. Is building homeless shelters considered part of charity?
I would think so.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Definitely throw huge parties. I would buy
Drunk up in this bitch.
Yeah, I would buy plane tickets and hotels for everybody to go to. As many people as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be let's just make it. I'll buy everybody tickets to War Machine Weekend, and the hotel's on me.
Mm-hmm.
Bars on me. It'll be an open bar.
Mm-hmm.
Cigars are on me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could push that pretty good.
Yep.
So yeah, I could probably push that money out, throwing a huge party for everybody. Sign up, Gonzo, send me to War Machine Weekend. Yep, here you go. Here you go. 100% I'd do that.
Nice. John, you're up.
I'm getting as many friends as I can get off those particular day. We're renting the most expensive cars we can possibly rent, and we're going to have 3 meals in 3 different cities that are as expensive as humanly possible. We're just going to go absolutely nutso. If I get to rent a Bugatti Veyron and drive that thing to, breakfast down in, South Carolina because it's super awesome, I am doing that. And then from there, we'll see what's got awesome lunch. And we will drive there and we'll have lunch. And then we'll end up somewhere awesome for dinner.
Nice.
Bowie, you have no idea about the hookers and blow at War Machine Weekend. There is a story about hookers at War Machine Weekend. So
We can't tell that story.
We can't talk about
We
that
cannot
story.
tell that story.
So that would definitely take us outside of PG-13 and
Yeah.
well deep into the R.
yes.
Yep.
I know some stories about War Machine Weekend about hookers. And strippers. Strippers aren't PG-13.
So, changing topic. Here's what I would do.
Good save.
Quarter of it goes to charity.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So I got $750,000 left. I'm gonna buy a Noble. A Noble is an English sports car. It costs about $500,000. It'll cost about $100,000 to get it over here, and I'm gonna race it as fast as I can against every cop I can find. And then whenever I get caught, I'll just bribe them to let me go.
Or pay for the bail.
Yeah, one of the two. It's easy. 24 hours to spend it. Watch how many times I get caught. Because I am a terrible driver.
Or medical expenses when you crash it.
I won't crash it.
Are you sure?
Yeah. It's my fantasy. I'm not going to crash it.
Okay, you're not going to crash. So you're not driving it in Virginia. Duly noted.
Winding roads? Let's do it.
Oh, it's not the winding road, sir. I'm not worried about your skills. I'm worried about those idiots around you.
Yes.
They're only going 70. I'll be going fast enough that I will no longer be going towards them. They will be coming towards me.
I was going home on Tuesday, driving up the interstate at 80, and I was being passed. I'm in the slow lane, in the fast lane and the exit lane. And I'm like, what the shit are you guys doing? I'm going 80. It's not like I'm going slow. Jesus. People be crazy.
Yep.
So that's all of our questions?
That is 100% of the questions that we currently have.
Okay. And some of them you're going to address with
really
video.
long one from Chris Wells, yeah.
Yep, and the one from Chris Wells I think is actually so good we could do a whole show on it, but it would actually take research.
Yeah, absolutely. That's long.
Yep.
What's
He's
the
got
question?
like a 4-part question about games that we need to rate, that we're looking forward to, that he would recommend.
Ooh.
It's like
Lots of things like that, but it is research for a show, for sure.
So, next Sunday?
I got a week.
Sure.
All right. Congo, if you were on Mouse John's patron, you're on our patron, so it's okay. So you don't have to worry about that. That way nobody had to reset up anything, so we just got it all done. So what was our other subject that we had? We answered all of our questions.
Community.
What?
Jinx.
This is not. We don't have a community. There's no such thing as community with this game.
Yeah. So actually, after our answer last week, we thought it was such a great topic for today because we've got 3 people in 3 really different situations. So last week we were asked, what's more important, the gameplay or the community? And all 3 of us said community. And we've got Gonzo, who's in a community of competitive players, a very established community, John, who's building community, and me, who's trying to break into a brand new community. So for tonight, we thought we'd spend a little bit of time as our, I don't know, what do we want to call it, the focus of our discussion. I don't know. I feel like we're stealing from somebody else then.
So that's a time-honored tradition of podcasting, sir.
So as our stolen topic for the day.
No, it's totally original. We invented this shit.
Okay. So Plagiarism 101. Hey, if we get it first, that's all that matters. So John, you were talking a little bit during the pre-ramble about some of the things that's going on right now as you're playing in the Malifaux League. I was wondering if you could bring up our regular listeners. What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually playing in 2 Malifaux leagues. One I'm running just for literally my friends, the guys who I hang out with all the time, to get them back into Malifaux. And then one is run by a henchman down at another store. So that one's actually legit, whatever. But I found, playing this Friday just with a couple buddies, that a couple random guys in the store had sort of heard about it somehow and came in looking to play, and I had to inform them, like, look, this is just for me and my buddies to learn to play, but since you're interested, I will look into running one greater for everyone. And that sort of thing, to sometimes to build a game or, because of an opportunity, you have to do an end around on whoever the local volunteer is and just take care of that shit yourself. We've got 2 good local henchmen for Malifaux at games and stuff, but neither one of them is playing it right now. One's playing Blood Bowl and a bunch of other stuff. Another guy, I see him on Thursday, but he's never playing anything. So I figured I'm just going to take it in my own hands, because sometimes building the community, you have to. You can't necessarily wait for someone else to do it. If you look at something like, well, I have to do this or no one's going to do it, it's got to be you. Or you got to rush with the consequences of no one doing it. So I'm going to run, after my one for my buddies is complete, I'm going to run a Slogo League for all these Malifaux guys. And see if we can get some more intro from the store. I'll talk to the store guys, see what they want to throw out. And if not, most of the guys in the league don't know this, but I'm going to put up a prize for the guys and my local guys who win the league out of my own cash, just for some stakes. And then if I have to, I'll do the same thing for this other league, Do
you think it's important to have stakes for a Slow Grow League?
I think it helps. If you're going to award points, there should be something for the points at the end. Otherwise, you're just playing for funds.
Mhm.
You know, and it might work for my buddies. They might be like, "Oh yeah, I don't need anything." But honestly, at the end of the day, if there are stakes, you know, if there are points and all that, you should win something. And they don't even know what it is. Like my locals don't, my buddies don't even know they're going to win anything. They're like, "Is there something at the end?" I'm like, "Yes, there's something at the end." They don't know what it's going to be, but they're still playing.
Well, now they know.
Well, if they listened. Some of them do, some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important, you know, and now with the general public, if you're going to run a league, you want to let them know what it's going to be.
Mm.
That way they're like, you know, like if I say, okay, you're going to win a crew box of your choice for winning. It's like a starter set. They need to know so they don't go and buy all of them so they have something to look forward to just in case they win. So we'll see what the store is going to help out with. But that's sort of the key, you know, if there's a game that you like and there's not a lot of people playing it, sometimes you got to be out there every day playing, and that's like the first key is being there playing. Any community starts with you being there playing. If you're there playing every week, people who have that game are like, "Oh, people are playing this game. I should bring it back out again," and then it'll start to build from there. Running cool events is the second, and tailoring this event for what the community needs, not what it says it wants. And I know that's hard. You got to do what the community actually needs.
So how do you know the difference?
You know, it's kind of egotistical, but you have to make that hard choice yourself if you're the one choosing to do it. Like locally, the only War Machine thing really going on, besides a handful of tournaments here or there, is the Store Wars, which is a team tournament that pits 3 guys from one store versus 3 guys from another store, etc. It's like a team battle filled out by store. And to be honest, it was an interesting idea. I don't think it's being run very well, and it is really 100% not what this community needs. This community is dying and needs stuff to get people back in. So Bowie, who's our local, or was our local PG, and still is going to take the mantle up of running War Machine stuff, is going to run a Journeyman League to get people back into the game. And I think the time is ripe for Journeyman Leagues everywhere. Get people back in, keep people playing again.
Nice.
So that's a hard thing. I mean, it sounds really weird to be the one making the decision for the community. And maybe you're wrong, but that's part of listening to the community. But sometimes you got to decide what you think the community needs and start running that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not what they need, they'll think, "Oh, hey, this is cool, but I really think I want to play this." And if enough people say that, then obviously it's what they want. You know?
Do you find that the privateer press narrative leagues are more likely to get people in your community, or do those sort of fall by the wayside?
I can't really tell right now. I mean, Mark III has been really weird for everyone.
Yeah.
It's in a, like I said, War Machine's in a really weird place. I don't know where the players are. We used to have, you know, we used to fill out, you know, between 2 and 4 tables, you know, so 4 and 8 people. Now we're getting 2. 2 people, and I can't figure it out. I don't know. Journeyman League seems like the way to go. See who's interested. See if anyone new wants to get in. Start at the ground up. And with a league, with a community like that, sometimes you gotta, you know, just take a chance and go, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. If not, we'll back up and punt, see what they need, see what else we can do.
Nice. So Gonzo, your situation's pretty different. Can you tell us a little bit about your world?
I'm in a really, really competitive meta.
So like who hangs out with
like
you
Brent
guys?
Simon, Brandon Shirley, Carl Jones, Chris Collins, Nick Huseman. Now, while Carl Jones and everything are actually kind of Kansas City, I still consider them part of our meta because we all go to each other's events and we all talk about competitive stuff. And so it's sometimes it can get really, really heated on the competitive side, and that's where you got to kind of go, let's kind of hold off on a second, guys. Let's kind of get with it. But the one thing I do want to say, that even though we are competitive and we bust each other's balls 100%, the reason why I like the Warmahordes community better than any other is because they're a community that sticks through with each other during the hard times. And I don't mean the hard times from the game. I mean the hard times in your life. When Kim passed away, there were so many people from the community that came to help me or dropped everything they were doing to go help pack her apartment, go do this, go do that. The community here raising $1,500 for diabetes. That's amazing. We raised quite a bit of money as a memorial event for Kim to help out on certain things in Kansas City. It's stuff like that. People, we had a guy from Oklahoma City that got his army stolen, and one of the things that Kim did was took her PG points and bought him a whole entire Troll Blood army with her PG points.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we did that twice for him. Because he'd gotten it stolen once and stolen twice, and we redid it. And then the community got together and in Kentucky and gave her Troll Blood Army for doing that. That's that. Even though we're super competitive, my local guys, they stuck by me some pretty hard times. Like they all went, came as soon as everything happened. They were all like, okay, we're all off work. Let's go to Gonzo's. Let's hang by him for hours on end. Make sure he's okay. It's that kind of community. There's people I've had that have been friends through strictly War Machine. Met some of the people on the podcast right here, and that's the thing. We're super competitive, and I mean balls competitive when it comes to stuff, and practicing, and I'm a pretty shitty player, but I like the competitive area because I like the way it feels. I like playing like that. Doesn't mean I don't like, fun games. It's just I love going to tournaments. I love playing in tournaments, and it's not purely the competitive part. It's so I can see people like John Damaris whenever something happens, Carl Morgan, hang out with people I only get to see like 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah,
that's the reason why War Machine Weekend is such a big thing for me, because I get to see everybody I haven't seen in the whole year. So that's the community I like, and that's the reason why I like this community. I mean, I've been part of Magic, 40K, all the other ones, but the Warhammer Hearts community, while we may have some issues with the game, and we may float back and forth, and PP, we got to work all the kinks out. It's the people that really make it worthwhile. People like Jay Larson and putting on stuff and being a good ambassador for your community.
Absolutely. Jay Larson and John Damaris are amazing for what they've done.
Yeah, and I mean, and they branched out to other games too. I mean, I remember Muse got in Guild Ball, really get into it. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Sorry to hear that, Congo. I hope everything's okay. But it's like this. When things happen, this community of Warma Hordes, they stick up with each other. I know there was one time somebody was like messing around with a Warma Hordes player and giving him shit for playing War Machine, and we're like, I think you kind of just need to go somewhere else right now. We don't badmouth other games per se. We do critique, but we don't badmouth other players for playing that game, because that's their game. If they like playing it, Yeah. We're all nerds. Get along.
Yeah.
So Gonzo, in your experience, how do you build that kind of community, or how do you encourage that kind of community?
Hang out. We haven't done it lately because things have just been kind of crazy, but I know that like every time we went to a tournament, this goes back to, bringing back what John said in, last episode, go out and have a few beers, go out and sit down and have a meal. Go out and just hang out with a bunch of people. Some people, when we go to, what is it called? Hibachi Grill a lot after a tournament. And it's kind of funny because it kind of split up. The groups kind of split up around the Hibachi area. These are the guys that want to talk about all their games that happened during the tournament. And here's the guys that want to talk about what they did on the week, how their kids are doing, or what games they're playing besides this and stuff. And it's just a big hangout group where we all get together and we're not rolling dice, we're not being competitive, and we're just being friends. And I think that's it. Have people come over for a barbecue at the house and set up a few small tables if you want to do that. Hang out, and that's the key thing, is hang out and enjoy each other's people's company.
Do you guys also play other types of games when you're hanging out? Or, like I know Werewolf shows up at every con I've ever been to.
Yeah. We, personally, board games. We'll grab some board games out and play some other board games. Miniature games, not really. 40K and War Machine Hordes are too. But, board game here and there. Or get together, on a Friday or a Saturday and do stuff. I think that's kind of what's, since Kim's passing and stuff, that was something we always did, and we haven't done that. And I think that's something we probably need to get back to doing. No, not every single time. I know I didn't go to the eat thing when we went to Springfield, but everybody else did. I wanted to stay and watch the finals. But, I mean, you should do that as a group. A lot.
Yeah.
Go out and, go see a movie together. Go hang out at the house. Don't talk about the game. Talk about,
other things, hang out, watch. We do that a lot of times over my buddy Marshall's house. We go, we'll hobby at his place. We'll maybe play some games, but we'll watch movies, listen to music, and just have a good time together. It's great.
Yeah. Be friends.
Yes,
no matter how competitive, how hobby, or whatever. Hang out with your friends. Chill. Relax. Drink some beer.
Okay, so here's an interesting question for both of you guys. So the community that I'm coming into is relatively new with most of the players. They've got a couple of people who've been playing since the middle of Mark II, but the majority have only experienced Mark III, which means that the complaints that you normally hear just aren't happening, which is great. Awesome. But it also is a young group. So what do you do with that situation where we've got plenty of players who seem to be under 20?
Well, I mean, the drinking's not important. That's whatever. Lead by example. Be the one to go like, hey guys, it was cool. I mean, I'm going to dinner next. Anyone else want to come to have dinner? Just sort of prod them in that way. If they're not interested, that's cool. You don't want to make it like a big deal or anything. Just mention it as you're going out the door.
Yeah.
It depends on the area. Some areas, they just go home afterwards. You're like you said, you're a couple minutes away, so it may not be a thing, but take the time to do it. Just see if they're interested, because honestly, a community that's that much tighter is so much stronger. You'll be able to get through any problems you come upon. It'll make your games more fun because you're playing with a buddy. It's one thing to play with a random stranger, and you got to be careful. Like, I don't want to talk too much smack, even if I'm poking fun, because he might take it the wrong way. Once you're buddies, I mean, God, me and the guys, we will talk all sorts of horrible smack back and forth that, of course, we totally don't mean. But we're having a good time. But yeah, like it's similar to that thing we've always said, is that be the change you want to see. Be the example you want them to follow.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing to remember, especially in terms of things like sportsmanship. So I had my first outing to the new local game store, which is Mishap Games down in Roanoke. And it's a great store. They've got two storefronts. One side is almost all store with a selection of good products and a hobby space, and the other side is all gaming tables with over half of that space specifically for miniature games and the back half for role-playing games. They've thought it out really well. The odd thing is that they don't have a dedicated night for any game, so you can't go in and just say, like, Thursday I'm going to go pick up a game with whoever's there, and that's certainly what I was used to coming from Chicago. The way that they have it set up, in order to incentivize people, is they've created what they've called the Misadventurers Guild. And it's an online system where you create events online, you find a partner online, you show up at the time, and then you both swipe in a membership card that was free, and you earn experience using the old AD&D second edition rules. So at 1,000 experience points, you're at level 2. At 2,000, you're at level 3. And it goes up from there. But I found it great because I was able to get multiple things lined up at one time. So I had a game that technically was at the same time as the beginning of some hobby stuff. Cool. I got to play my game with somebody who was new to the game and only had a 50-point army led by Irusk 2. And he thought that some dragon, the Black Dragons? Thank you. Black Dragons were going to screen Irusk 2 from Ron and all of the battle mages during the feat turn. And before I did it, I said, I just want to remind you that you chose what I played, and it's good for you to see what this does. But then we went over to the hobby area. The gentleman I played, he and I went over, met up with other people who were putting together their models, and had a really nice chat for probably 2 hours. But definitely, trying to figure out how to balance a younger group in terms of experience, a younger group in terms of age, and a group that is much smaller. I'm hoping that next week I have a better sense of who's there and what's happening, because they're doing the Grimkin release event next Sunday.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So I'll be able to talk about what that's like. But yeah, I think it's an interesting place to be, to try to walk into somewhere and improve what's already there without disrespecting what's already there.
And honestly, you brought up a good point, is the online thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you get to a store and you're hanging out there and they don't have any online way of setting up games, talk to the staff, say like, hey, would you guys mind if I create a X store, gaming Facebook page? Like, hey, if you game at the store, this is the Facebook page where we can arrange games and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because that's a great idea. The store next town down has it. And it helps. You'll hear guys go like, hey, I'm here, we're looking to play some 40K if you guys want to stop by. Or, hey, I'm free this day, do you want to play some 40K, or do you want to play some War Machine, or what have you? It'll go a long way to letting you more efficiently use your time. Mm-hmm. It is a little bit of work, and you definitely want to talk to the guys at the store before you do that, just because you're sort of promoting the community, because maybe it's something they want to do and moderate. Mm-hmm. In which case, cool, and entice them to technology that we're not taking full advantage of like we could, because a lot of us old grognards are set in our ways.
I think actually, you going and being there, and being an experienced player with new players, you could really mold and shape that community in a good positive light, where people aren't. It looks like John's froze up. Oh, there he goes. And you can really help out. I mean, you could be the PG, and pretty much what PGs were social coordinators.
Sure.
We help build the game. So I mean, that's something you could. I think you should probably do, and you could probably talk about that. No problem. John's saying that the drinking thing, the alcohol is just part of the alcohol. But I mean, set up a game night. See if they want to talk to those when you get to them. Talk to them and see, hey, do y'all want to do like gaming on Monday and Thursdays, or Tuesdays and Thursdays, or whatever, to see for War Machine and Hordes. And there goes John. So I mean, that's just something that you could do and get set up. There's plenty of ways that you can mold that community. Also, find out what they're into. Do they want to go to tournaments?
Yeah, and that was actually, I talked to the guy who was essentially the current not PG, and so there's a little bit of a smaller group here in Roanoke, and then there's a smaller group in a neighboring town, Lynchburg. It's about an hour away. And he said that they actually will carpool to the various tournaments, pick each other up, talk strategy on the way there, and it becomes an unofficial store war where you just get bragging rights for winning, but everyone's still trying to win individually. And so it's been a very positive thing for the groups, because then afterwards you get to go talk to other people. I'm also hoping that because they've got such a nice hobby set up, that I'm going to be able to hobby a little bit more with actual human beings. I spent a long time watching Netflix and painting, so talking to people is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk to the store, see if you want to set up a little, Seth shows you how to 2-brush blend and eat paint.
It's tasty. It's tasty.
It is now the 8 o'clock hour, so we are going to head into our media section. Whoa, it looks like John's really, really happy. Let's see if everything works.
No, it's a 9. It's
No. Nope. I'm going to try to get the Twitch chat back. It looks like it crashed on us.
No?
No, on the thing we got right here. Other than that, John, it's yours, buddy. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, I watched 2 movies. I'm not going to spoil either one yet. The first one is called The Saint. And no, I'm not talking about the one with Val Kilmer.
Ah, dang it, because that one was awesome.
I own that movie. That movie is awesome. But I was flipping through Netflix. I was going to watch Inner Space. Keep the space. Keep tuning in, guys, because I will be watching that soon. Because I love that movie and it's on Netflix. And damn it, I need to watch that movie again.
Yeah.
But I'm flipping through because I always like to. I add them to my queue, and then I'm like, what else do they have? And I'm like, The Saint. I'm like, that's not the one I know. Oh, what the hell? I'll give it a shot. Yeah, it was obviously a low budget, made as a backdoor pilot for a TV show that obviously never went anywhere. The only actors I would say of note are Elijah Dushku and James Remar. Neither one of them very much of note, let's be honest. But it was really not too bad. It also had Roger Moore in it for like 12 seconds. But if you have a Saint series and you get Roger Moore, what the hell? The main character was man, I'm trying to figure out what the main. I don't even know. Adam Rayner. I don't even know who this guy is. He's got a sort of standard look. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but it's all TV shows, none of which I've actually even seen. So it's not like he's a big actor, but he did a decent job. Elijah Dushku did a fine job. She's stylish and very witty, which is cool. Overall, it was very solid, but not exceptional in any way, because while the mains were all pretty good, the entire supporting cast was kind of mediocre or less. It averaged out to mediocre. It is totally worth watching if you got a little bit, has a little bit of style. It was. I feel like if they had managed to get this picked up in a TV series, it was a TV series I would have checked out. I had a lot of potential, but it didn't go anywhere. It looks like. There's time. It's from this year. Pretty good. I would give it. I don't know. I'd say I'd give it about 2.5 shots of crack in about an average action movie-ish type area. It was good, worth watching, but you're not going to go out of your way to see it. What did you guys watch? I'll save my next one for later.
Uh-oh. I actually watched the entire... I got another movie, but I watched the entire series of... oh, God, I just forgot it. Brain fart. Atypical, sorry.
I was going to say, Brain Fart does not sound like a show I've heard of. Tell me more.
Atypical.
I'd watch it, though.
It's kind of a comedy drama about a high school kid with autism. And like autism is something I'm very into, being a spectrum type person, and also as a teacher, I'm always seeing if these people do it great or if it's just a bunch of crap. And it was actually pretty funny. Really good series. It has one of my favorite actors in it, Michael Rappaport. He plays a dad. I love him. He's always done some really good roles, and he's always acted really well. It's a good teenager high school type show, but I mean, it has some really funny parts in it. definitely watch it on Netflix. They're only 30-minute episodes, so you can watch an entire season no problem. Because I think it's only like 7 episodes and 30 minutes each. Other than that, I have another movie I'm talking about, but I was going to give Seth a chance to talk about one of his.
Sure. So this week I binge watched, and more importantly, forced my wife to binge watch Stranger Things, and it was excellent. I'm sure that lots of people have seen it. I really recommend you go back and rewatch it if you haven't, because the first time I watched it with my head down. I was painting other things. I would look up when there was a big sound, and I missed so much. But I realized that there's a lot of stuff that is very subtle, that's in the background, that is there to hint at what's going on. And going in, realizing after having seen the first season and starting again, this is a Cthulhu story. And that what it is that when people who are not insane encounter things they can't explain, is they all go mad in one way or another. And so you get to watch all of the characters in a really interesting way react to the same stimulus and become different people because of it. And I think that's really what makes it a horror story more than anything else. It's not the monster, it's what happens with the people.
It was very well done. It's the only thing that's tempted me to absolutely binge watch. No other have I been like, I need to binge watch this. I watched the first and second episodes, and I'm like, holy shit, I'm watching this, all of this.
Yeah, it was worth it.
The same thing. I watched like the first episode, and I'm like, hold the press, get in here and watch the first episode with me again, and then we're binge watching everything. And it reminds me of my childhood, because it's the same type of time frame. I remember the same things. It's had buddies like that when I was young. Doing stupid shit like that, and I rolling a 20 and freaking out and spazzing out like nerds, going off, and it hit home on a personal level, and then they got everything right. You care for the characters, you like everything makes you going, what's going on? You just want to see what happens next. One of my top.
So I would have given it one shot just because it'll help you more during the jump scares.
No. 0.
Yeah, 0. Holy moly. Alright, well my second movie is one I've seen before, and one they reviewed on the only other podcast I listen to due to time constraints, which is called Junk Food Cinema. If you like old cult movies, I was just checking it out. One of the hosts is actually the guy who wrote the screenplay for Doctor Strange, and he's been a reviewer for a while. And it's very cool to hear them talk about these movies because they love all these old movies. And the movie I'm watching is actually Sneakers. Have you guys seen this?
Oh yeah, I saw it in the theater when it came out.
I never know. It is a bit of a cult movie. Didn't get nearly the recognition it deserved, especially for the cast. I mean, because you've got Robert Redford, Ben Kingsley, Sidney Poitier, Dan Aykroyd, Mary McDowell. I mean, River Phoenix. I mean, I don't want to spoil it. There's another cast member who shows up for a cameo, but I'm not going to spoil it because it's at the end and it's kind of cool. If you're paying real attention, you'll know who it is about halfway through. But and it's just a great movie. It is sort of the proto modern Ocean's 11 style movie.
Yeah.
Caper movie where all the guys have specific skills and sets. Just very well done, very enjoyable. Not really violent at all. I mean, aside from Robert getting knocked out like 3 times in a row from the same guy, which that's kind of funny actually. But it's super fun, super enjoyable. The pacing is a tiny bit on the slow side, but honestly, you barely notice it. There's like one point where you're like, you need to speed up a little bit, guys. But beyond that, you're like, this is great. Very cool, very interesting take on a security spy / movie after the fall of the Berlin Wall, when Russia was no longer quite what they were, and they address it very good. I'm going to give it. I'll give it a shot at cracking just because, like I said, it's a little slow at points. and it is a tiny bit dated. I mean, it's hard to say. It doesn't. It actually holds up for pretty well, but still a little bit dated. Very good. Check it out. Good lord.
I think what gets it dated though is the technology, because you're like listening and stuff and like, oh, they're using a dial-up modem on some things, and they pick up the phone and put it on the I'm like,
But
damn, I remember that.
So for you youngins out there, that'll date it, and you'll be like, what the hell are they doing? But for us old guys, it's not dating it. It's like that's how it was back then.
Yeah.
But
that
aside
dates
from that,
it.
like
That
a lot
still
of things.
dates it.
But a lot of things that could normally date a movie aren't in this. The content is still good. You could remake this movie. I mean, you wouldn't want to because it's pretty darn close to a perfect movie. You could remake it, and with a couple of minor changes is all you need, just to and that shows a good. The content is good. It's still actually even more what's going on, and very suggest you guys watch it. Great, it has a cups. It's good to see definitely check it out. Gonzo?
I actually rewatched because we were talking about it and some of the movies and Justice League coming out, and it was on, and I was like working on some stuff and working on some models, and Dark Knight came back on, and I watched that again and was like, okay, let's see how it's held up since we've got the new Batman stuff and the thing is over, and it's still good. The Joker is just incredible. Of who I think the Joker should have been and how he should have acted and what he should have done, 100%. It's still a good, solid movie. Batman and everything, great, no problem. Still one of my favorite Batmans. But I mean, the Joker just 100% makes that. And going back and seeing the new Joker, I just weep because it's so bad.
I don't look at it as bad. I like that each actor who's portrayed the Joker has taken a different style and take towards it. And I think that's the proper way to do it. Whoever this guy who did the most recent one didn't try and be Heath Ledger. He didn't try and be Jack Nicholson. He didn't try and be Cesar Romero. He's different. And the same with Heath Ledger. He's like, he could have fallen back on Nicholson and no one would have faulted him. Not a single person would have. But he took it his own way, and it was all the greater for it.
Yeah, and I understand that. I don't have a problem with someone trying to mold it into their own image or their own thing. But Jared Leto's, I don't know, and maybe it's just because I'm a traditionalist. To me, I didn't like the gangster Joker and the thug Joker. I like my Joker more, super stupid crazy, very chaotic, do stupid shit because it's meant to do stupid shit.
Heath Ledger's actually sort of the opposite of chaotic. He has chaotic ends, but he is a master planner.
Correct. I'm talking about
it's interesting dichotomy of a character, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I the way that Heath Ledger did it and the psychopath and the crazy was so much better in that one.
Yeah, I love to call Dark Knight a great movie that I don't enjoy. Because I would never say that it's not great. I just don't enjoy watching it. You watch it and you get... It's a good experience, but it's not fun. You know what I mean? It's a very good, serious movie. It is a film rather than a movie, if you get my meaning.
Yeah.
It can be judged with films, and for that, it's great. I would never badmouth it in that. As a Batman property, you could file the serial numbers off, and that would still be a great movie.
Yeah.
I think my issue with Jared Leto's Joker, and I have not seen the movie, so I'm talking only from what I've seen in previews and a little bit I've seen in reviews, is that
It's not that bad.
I don't know if I want to change that either.
It's not that bad.
Visually, he is so different from any way that he's ever been presented, and it seems like he's trying to play it differently than any way he's being presented, that the two of them just didn't work. Like, my Joker is Mark Hamill. That I think that he hit it perfectly.
You.
Bam! Right back.
Absolutely. Mark Hamill is the perfect voice of the Joker. Mm-hmm. Just like Kevin Conroy is the perfect voice of the Batman.
Yep.
And if there's any minor flaw with the Dark Knight that doesn't even reduce it from its high perch that it's on, is that Christian Bale Batman voice is terrible.
But I'm the Batman. I can't breathe, but I'm the Batman.
Oh my God, it's terrible. I mean, but the funny thing is that you accept it. You're like, okay, they're trying to do it without the stupid voice modulator because Ben Affleck gets a voice modulator, and that's fine. But he's doing it old school, and he's just making that's what a person would do. They would talk weird just so you can't recognize their voice. I'm okay with it. It's not good, but I'm okay with it. It fits in the movie enough that you're like, it's totally forgivable.
I think it's, to bring it to a different movie, in Spider-Man Homecoming, that's even a joke that they make. That
it's a joke I make in my role-playing game, too.
Yeah, that Peter Parker's voice is not different enough from his Spider-Man voice just because he's wearing a mask.
The interrogation protocol is amazing!
So...
Sorry, we derailed you from your review there, Gonzo.
No, that's fine, and it's a good point because, I mean, now I love Mark Hamill. This is the voice of Joker, amazing, great. But I mean, to me, Jared Leto's Joker looks like it was trying too hard. It was trying to be too unique because when I first saw the trailer and I saw the picture of it and kind of just a little bit, I was like, okay, cool, a real psychopath, a crazy, fucked up individual. And then when I watched the show, I was like, no, he's more of just a psychopathic gang dealer, and it was like it just didn't resonate as the Joker for me.
I think you hit the nail on the head. He's trying really hard to not be Heath Ledger, because how do you follow that performance? I mean, think about how long there was between Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger. I mean, that was, 15, 20 years?
Probably.
And then you've got less than 10, you've got to follow up Heath Ledger. Mm. I mean, he was in a bad spot. But I like that he does, and I like this, and this is an important note about movies, is that a lot of these things are getting remade. They become modern myths and legends. It's like the story of Hercules. It's retold a different way every time. Batman is retold a different way every time because it's our modern myths. And that's okay. Maybe it's not what you like, and that's fine. You don't have to like it all. But it's a modern myth, and I like that they're retelling it. I say this multiple times. The Batman from the Dark Knight trilogy could not detect his way out of a paper bag. Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, he would not necessarily be the ultimate Batman, because Batman is the world's greatest detective. But for the world they created, he fits as Batman. He fits the world they created. It works. Doesn't work in the general DC universe, but it works perfectly in what Nolan created. And that's good enough.
No. I don't know. There's just something about the Jared Leto one that just irks the crap out of me.
You don't have to like it. I mean,
no. I actually didn't care for the movie that much either. I think it was all trying too hard. And that's the reason why I'm kind of. Extended version? Yeah, no, I haven't watched the extended. No, I haven't watched the extended version.
Much like Batman vs Superman, it is just strictly better. I think DC movies are falling into the fact that the studio is interfering way too hard and taking character development out of the movies, and that is bullshit.
It could be.
The way they want to make serious movies, and the way you make serious movies is to let the characters have development.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to say that Suicide Squad is a great movie with the extended version. With the extended version, it's good. Without it, it's okay. I watch it, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, it was a good time. It's a little bit better with the extended version, but still not great. But you could tell the studio interference is starting to cause problems with that, and hopefully, since Wonder Woman went off very well, and I was very impressed with it,
Yes.
hopefully Justice League will be the same. If not, they're going to be in a really, really bad spot. Really bad.
Oh, my dog's acting crazy. Seth, did you see another movie or watch anything else?
I just have a follow-up question for the DC versus Marvel movie cinematic universe thing. And I'm wondering, and I've been wondering this from the beginning, is part of the problem that they're letting multiple people play the same character for DC?
No, the problem is that DC is twofold. DC is playing catch up and feeling like they have to play catch up. So they're trying to. I say this about Batman vs Superman, a lot of stuff. It has some great moments, but none of them are earned. They didn't earn this shit. It was too quick. Civil War was earned. Batman vs Superman not earned.
Got it.
And the other problem is that they want to make their world dark and gritty, which is fine, but I don't think that's what the audience wants from their superhero stuff. Superheroes by nature are a level detached from dark and gritty because they're running around in bright costumes and fighting crime, and that's a little bit silly, and you kind of have to embrace it to a certain point, or you lose something. So...
Well, I also think, because at one point, the DC movies were better than the Marvel movies.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah, and then it flipped. And then the Marvel movies started being better than the DC movies. And I think DC is, whoever's doing the DC stuff is like, oh, wait a minute, this is not working. We got to get our heads out of our ass and do something good now.
Well, it was the same thing with the animation. It started off that Marvel animation was good, and DC's was kind of and then it flip-flopped.
Yep.
There's like a brief period you had Batman animated series and X-Men, and you're like, oh, they're both good. And then it flip-flopped.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm hoping Justice League is good. I want it to be. Oh, yeah, I think I will, too, just because, one, I like the cast. Plus, hopefully it turns out to be good. I want it to be good. I don't want to see it flop. I want them to have a good one, because DC's got some of the most iconic characters that we need to see on a movie.
Having both comic companies' movies be successful is just good for the industry.
Yeah.
Because it means people will try stuff, and the problem with movies is that if one's good and one's not, people are going to copycat and not realize that maybe copycatting doesn't work. It's like the sci-fi problem. Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets did poorly, so people are going to be like, oh, people don't want sci-fi. No, we just want sci-fi where our lead actors have some sort of chemistry together, you fuckwits. Just saying. They studios won't take the right meaning. They take a broad meaning quick because they don't give a fuck. They just here to make money. They won't take a good meaning. They won't spend the time to dig deep and realize, well, why isn't this succeeding? It's succeeding. Throw more humor in it. The Suicide Squad thing. Like, we think it needs to be funnier. Did it? Maybe not. You're trying for dark stuff. Maybe if you made it dark, those are the kind of guy who could do it. I think your dark would have made that movie worse.
Well, I mean, I hope so. I hope it does good because I like.
Absolutely.
I like superhero teams because it adds more. You get to do more cool things. It's not concentrating on just one thing. That's the reason why I'm kind of hesitant on the Infinity Gauntlet and stuff. I'm like, I really hope this is really good. I really hope the Infinity Wars turns out awesome. But I mean, there's just so many things that can go wrong with that. True,
but look at their track record.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Those things you're like, So, worst case, let's say it's like Thor or Thor 2. Those are still enjoyable movies, and it's unlikely to be that bad.
Yeah.
Both of which I enjoyed a ton.
I know. Personally, I think the worst Marvel movie was The Incredible Hulk, and it's still not a bad movie. It's still pretty decent.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm hoping I would rather them be good than, of course, bad.
Yeah.
Because we need good superhero movies. We need good team superhero movies on top of that too.
Because some characters shine, like Wonder Woman can shine in a solo thing. Superman can shine in a solo thing. Batman, after a certain point, Batman is so much better in a team because we all know who Batman is.
Yeah.
All of us, every one of you in the chat room, every one of you listening, you know in your heart who Batman is. So in a team, his interactions with people is so much cooler.
With that, guys, we are kind of wrapping up. We're going to talk to y'all about a bit of what's going on. We are, like I said, going to be getting Seth a camera so he can start painting on this with y'all and do more stuff like that while we talk about subjects. Excuse me as I burp. Also, I will be out of the podcast on the 27th. I'm working on getting a guest lined up, which we're about this close, and it is going to be an industry leader. So it'll be our first guest appearance. And so what we want to do is when we have guest appearances, we're going to have one of us gone or two of us gone, depending on what's going on. One, that'll give one of us a break to go do something else, and two, we want to bring y'all some really good guests. We're going to be bringing not just, hey, we're bringing Beth Mayoff John. No, we're going to bring you some people from Privateer Press, some 40K people,
some of the best painters in the
best
U.S.
painters, people that aren't industry leaders but are definitely leaders in their field. We're talking about, tournament.
Or people who are just passionate about what they do.
Correct.
That passion transmits well.
So we're going to try to get some more stuff on here. We're going to try to do probably maybe actually I'm letting John have the Malifaux since he's more into that. I don't know any Malifaux, but maybe. I know plenty of Guild Balls. The pundits from Guild Ball, I know quite a few of that. We're going to try to bring you some stuff that's, a lot of hobby stuff, like videos on the 3D printing. Also, game designers. I got a group of people that I'm trying to work with, because even though it is a board game, it's a miniature game on top of that. And I want to try to get this miniature board game company. They've said that they would come on. And it would be a group. It would be their group and us.
Yeah.
So it would be a really cool one.
And maybe we can get some people who wrote some role-playing books. I think I could actually help fulfill that.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be able to do everything.
And if you want to see something, let us know.
Yeah, if there's something, especially if there's something you want us to review, like, hey, can y'all look into this game? Well, sure, I'll look into the game.
Absolutely, yeah, we'll take a look at it. Everything. We're gaming from all sides of the tabletop. Doesn't matter what gaming it is. You want us to talk about a card game? We'll take a look at it. We may not go too far into it, but we can definitely, take a look, do a lot of research, give you some, maybe do a demo at a local store, try and give you some honest opinions on it.
Yeah, is this game worth getting into?
Yeah.
If there's another podcast that you think, hey, y'all should probably hook up and maybe y'all can do an episode together. We don't have a problem. We want to bring what y'all want and have fun with this. So, other than that, did everybody have a good time?
I had a great time.
Yeah, sweet. One last drink. Oh, look, Seth's got to finish his drink.
I had a wonderful time.
So other than that, guys, we are going to go ahead and play out the music, and we will see you... yes, Dark Souls. We will see you next week. Next week's subject is already being worked on. Other than that, everybody having a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.